Now, the strategy I'm going to teach you today, who's in business? Okay, who's an employee? Okay, who's looking to get into business? Okay, this is going to suit everybody. For those of you in business, this is by far the most powerful method on the planet to make more money quickly. For those of you who are employees, if you want to add value, if you employ this system into the business that you're working in, you will immediately increase your value. And if you increase your value as an employee, guess what you're going to ask your boss for more of? Money. Now, for those of you who are looking for a business opportunity, the framework that I give you here is going to give you a business opportunity where you can go out and start setting up joint ventures for other people and get paid for it. Let's define what is a joint venture. A joint venture is two businesses coming together for mutual benefit. Two businesses coming together for mutual benefit. That is what a joint venture is. Now, notice the key word in there is mutual benefit. And you need to understand, whenever you set up a joint venture, you need to be looking at what do they want. Because I'm going to classify a joint venture even further. What else is a joint venture? A joint venture, write this down. A joint venture is a product. A joint venture is a product. A joint venture is a product. Now, what do we do with products? Sell them. And what is the biggest misnomer around with the best products in the world? They sell themselves. That is bullshit. That was told to you by someone who didn't know how to sell. The best products in the world do not sell themselves. The best products in the world find a way to communicate to people's values to such a degree where it makes it a no-brainer for people to make a purchasing decision. It's a value proposition, and it's also based on two other things which we'll talk about. Now, joint ventures, the cool thing about joint ventures, when you're marketing to a marketplace, typically you're marketing what I call one-to-one marketing, which means if you're using direct mail, you're marketing one-to-one. Cold approach. If you're using newspaper advertising, cold approach. If you're using Google advertising, cold approach. All very good processes, all very valid, could be used, should be tested, should be measured. When you use a joint venture, you're targeting one person who will give you access, in some cases, to 100, 1,000, or 10,000 or more warm contacts. Why are they warm? Because the one person that you're targeting has a relationship with them already. And if you target them well, they will endorse you to their clientele and to the people involved with them. All right, what I'm going to run through now is the organizing principles for joint ventures. So these are going to be the principles that overlay everything. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the 7 steps that you actually go through in order to implement the joint venture. You with me? The first principle to identifying and creating a powerful and profitable joint venture is identify your target market. Who are you trying to target? Now, the best way to identify your target market is look at your existing customers. And once you've identified who your target market is, the next step from there is identify their patterns of interest. What are they interested in? Okay, perfect example. I had one client that was a beautician, beauty therapist. We did a survey of 200 people in her database. We identified that 80% of her clients drove European cars. 80% of her clients drove European cars. So, when it came to setting up a joint venture, what do you think the most obvious choice was? BMW, Mercedes, Saab, and Audi. We approached those European car makers, the local dealerships, I should say. And we said to them, because this beauty therapist was a high profile, prestige, quite nice, we said to them, look, here's what we'd like to do. We'd like to give every one of your new customers who spends $120,000 or more with you a $500 gift pack from our salon. Now, if you approached anyone and you said to them, we would like to give all of your clients for free who buy with you a $500 gift pack, what do you think they would say? Absolutely, yes, please. BMW, Saab, Mercedes, and Audi all said, sounds fantastic. What do we have to do to be involved? Went back to my client, said, we've got these 4 guys that all want to be involved. And she goes, oh, now her cost was going to be about $180 per unit. Bearing in mind, her average client value was $6,000 per annum. $6,300 per annum. And she was whinging about spending $180 to potentially acquire new clients. And so I said to her, okay. She said, oh, it's going to cost too much. I said, all right, well, let's approach the suppliers. So we approached all the suppliers of the product that were going to be in that pack. And we said to them, how would you like to be involved in a cross-promotion with BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and Saab? And what do you think they said? Absolutely. What do we have to do to be involved? It's called by association marketing. People typically want to be associated. By association, it raises people's profile and credibility. Do you know the most expensive thing in the whole campaign? Do you know what it was? The gift basket. It cost $8. And as a result, we only ran that campaign for 3 months because the amount of new business that it was generating. She generated 80 new clients in 3 months. 80 new clients in 3 months at an average transactional value per annum of $6,000. And each and every single one of those cost her $8 to acquire. $8 to acquire. $8 to acquire. A $6,000 client. All right. Third thing you want to do is identify other non-competing businesses. So, do BMW, Audi, Saab, Mercedes compete with a beauty therapist? No, they don't. Do they complement a beauty therapist? Yes, they do. Now, you can also identify other competing businesses if you're very strategic. I had one client that was a caterer and sold catering, obviously. And he basically appeared on page 1 of Google. And he approached one of his competitors who also appeared on page 1 of Google, but it was in another state. And we rang this competitor and said to the competitor, look, what we'd like to do is, do you service our area? He said no. And he said, look, we don't service your area either. What we'd like to do is put a $5 piece of HTML code on your website, which is a button. It cost us $5 to make. We'd like to put it on your website that says, for Sydney orders, click here. And we'll put on our website, for Melbourne orders or Victorian orders, click here. Now, here's what the guy said. The guy said, no, you can put your button on my website, but I'm not really keen on having my button on yours. And we're like, okay. Now, that $5 investment netted my client $100,000 in new business in the first 12 months. All measurable, all traceable. $100,000 in 12 months. $5 piece of HTML. Starting to see a theme here. Okay, the fourth thing you want to do is you want to create a compelling and irresistible offer. A compelling and irresistible offer. There are 2 people that we need to sell in a joint venture. The first person is the joint venture partner. The first person is a joint venture partner. So we need a compelling and irresistible offer already created prior to approaching them, which is compelling and irresistible because it meets their values. Now, who do you think the second person is in this product, in this sale? Their clients. So that's the second compelling and irresistible offer that you want to create. The fifth thing we want to do is we want to make it win, win, win. Not win-win. We want to make it a win for the joint venture partner first. That is the first win. You come last. Please understand, you come last. The first win is for the joint venture partner. The second win is for the joint venture partner's clients, and the third win should be consequential for you. The third win should be consequential for you. Sixth thing you want to do is identify all the actionable steps. Okay, this principle is called project management. Who would like to learn how to do project management in 30 seconds? Yeah? Okay, which is the importance of the seventh thing, which is to set a deadline. Now, a deadline is nothing more than a close. A deadline is nothing more than your close. Who's ever sold something before but you hadn't actually taken the money, but both of you were very excited about it, and you walked away, and then you called them a day or 2 days or 3 days later, and what happens? Oh, I've changed my mind. Why? Because there was no logic, and you didn't get any commitment. Commitment is the key to making joint ventures work. Commitment is the key to making joint ventures work. And a deadline is a commitment. A deadline is a commitment. I look for at least half a dozen to a dozen commitments in some way, shape, or form. Now, I don't just go, do you want to do it? Yes. 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 1, 2, 3. I've just got to ask you 4 more times, John. Do you want to do it? Yes. I weave it into the conversation where I look for subtle commitments. Subtle commitments. Subtle commitments. And the eighth thing, the last thing I do is I get an endorsement. Now, how do you think would be the best way to get an endorsement from somebody? Well, you can ask them. You can ask them to buy your product, which creates a barrier for an endorsement. Or you can do what? You can give them your product or your service for free and let them try it, let them test it. Because when the joint venture partner is introducing us to their client base, the joint venture partner already has a relationship with them. Now, what does a relationship give the joint venture partner with that person that we don't have? Trust. It gives them trust. So if you are getting endorsed by someone who already trusts that person, what do you think inherently comes with that endorsement? By associated trust. You get trust by association, which is far more powerful than marketing to a cold market. Far more